Hello, party people. It is, in fact, Fandom Friday, and I am feeling fatigued. It's been a tiring week, that's all. And the weather is making me feel grumpy. But, it is what it is. So, let's jump into the usual stuff. We'll bounce around from some websites and see if we find anything worth looking at. Oops. There we are. Let's have a look at what the wrap has today. And bring the browser back up. There we are. Of course, we start here on my website. Well, my channel on Rumble. Shouldn't say it's my website. And I would like to say thank you to my 56 followers. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. And that is also part of the 2,000-ish total following that I have across the various platforms. Anyway, let's have a look here. New hybrid journalist. Savannah Guthrie sets today return for April. Don't care. Julio Torres. Color theories. Don't care. CNN guests accuse Scott Jennings of trashing Trump off camera. Well, it's off camera. How do you prove it? Seth Meyers pushes back on Vincent D'Onofrio's belief that magic is boring. Well, it can be. The thing with magic is, if it's handled correctly, and you have a couple of different options if you're creating a universe that has actual magic. You can do the Star Wars space opera thing, where almost everything is science fiction, but you have the one little niche of a single group who can use what amounts to magic, the Force. Now, you could continue to keep that in the science fiction realm by saying, no, it's just psychic powers. Yeah, and it would make sense. Or you could go a little further into magic and say that, there is a a binding force to the universe that fills us, penetrates us, and that sounds a little creepy these days. But yeah, you could do rare magic. Tolkien. What's another good choice for rare magic universes? The Marvel Universe is technically rare magic, though I think they do try to play it off as it's the not Heinlein, Clark. The Clarkian science that is sufficiently advanced will appear to be magic to the uninitiated, things of that nature. Let's see, what else have we got here? Talking about Nielsen's. This is drier than a witch's nevermind. One battle after another. Cinema's political playbook. Power Women New York. Yeah, I think we're going to move on to. We'll go over to CBR instead and see what that's got for us. Steve Zahn is moved from daddy daycare to beloved on-screen dad. I don't even remember the last time I watched Steve Zahn in anything. Let me see. Hulu's 75% RT action spy hit features Michael Caine's most controversial acting choice. He played a woman? Cyclops' shocking love interest returns in his next appearance. Is this X-Men? Looks like. Yes, ads are not being displayed. And no, I don't want to know how. The world of What If is about to ratchet things up a few notches. Now, for the record, the animated What If, I've enjoyed most of it. I don't like that they're not really doing justice to the comic series in terms of the method by which they are reproducing it for animated action. The original What If comic was all one shot until I think the 80s, when maybe the late 80s, early 90s, when they maybe did a couple of crossover things. But it was all alternate reality stuff. And it was great because you had an absolutely one issue contained story. Some of them were absolutely amazing. Some of them were not. But that's what happens when you take speculative. Excuse me. That's what happens when you go speculative. I just realized I forgot to make a coffee. Yeah. And I can feel the tiny little caffeine withdrawal headache starting. So I think as soon as I'm done this, I'll be making my ass a coffee. I know why. When I was at the store earlier, which is also part of the reason I was late, chores and errands. I meant to buy a Java monster and I forgot. Such happens. Let's see. So what if is going to ratchet it up? Is it? Let's see. Hold on to your visors. Oh, really? Ever wondered what if Cyclops told Jean Grey he was choosing Madeline Pryor, then Mr. Sinister created Clone instead? Well, Madeline was the mother of his child, so based. Okay, so that's the new what if. What if Cyclops chose the Goblin Queen? Interesting. However, she wasn't the Goblin Queen at the time. She was, if I recall correctly, Anodyne was what she was calling herself. She was a healer. So, if they go that route, I'd very much be interested. If this is just an excuse to get, a Jean Grey lookalike in a lot of skimpy clothing, it's a bit gratuitous even for me. Any indication of the story? Let's see. What if Uncanny X-Men #1 gives a very real look into what's to come after Scott Summers decides to stick with the Goblin Queen? Okay, so this requires that we're after Inferno. Terrible. What would have happened if Cyclops had saved her soul? Now, yeah, okay. So if it turns out that good is triumphing, sure. What would have happened if he and her had raised their son Nathan? Nathan, for the record, is Cable, if you don't know. And apparently the X-Men will be in Avengers Doomsday. Let's check out this trailer, because that's one of the other things we do here. And I'll pause this. This is from Marvel Entertainment itself, so hopefully I don't catch a copyright strike on YouTube, but I don't really care if I do. And I'll full screen this for the sake of not being a
death comes.
And I think we're going to need captions. It's only a minute, so...
Death comes for us all.
Yeah. Okay. Clearly this is meant to be the Xavier Institute. Why they have Grendel's mask in the window is beyond... Yeah, that's Grendel's mask, by the way, not Spider-Man's.
That's all I know for sure.
X.
The question isn't, are you prepared to die?
Okay, so that's Ian McKellen's voice, so I'm assuming this is meant to be old Magneto.
The question is, who will you be when you close your eyes?
It'll be nice to see Ian McKellen in a movie again. Of course, one of the things we have to bear in mind... Oops. Well, I'll just close that to get rid of it. And my computer has frozen. Lovely. Yeah, I have a lot of bloatware I need to get rid of. Obviously, it's causing my system to be quite slow. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for that to catch up, there we go. Let's go over to Entertainment Weekly and see what they have. Savannah Guthrie is talking about returning to... Oh, what's going on here? That's not looking right. Okay, no. Savannah Guthrie is going back to today with her mother still missing. Okay. Let's see. Taylor Swift, I couldn't care less. Taylor Swift was made confident by her fiancé. Dear God. Lauren Conrad, Kristen Cavallari, don't care. Al Roker, Cosby Show's Jeffrey Owens. Jeffrey Owens. I have no idea who that was. Outlander, Chad Michael Murray, Carolyn Bessette. Yeah, there's a whole lot of... Schwarzenegger helps pump Joseph Baena up as he follows in Dad's bodybuilding footsteps. Okay. I mean, it's good to be a good dad, regardless of how the child was conceived. Coming to America almost didn't happen, Arsenio Hall says. Okay, let's have a quick look at this. The 1988 Eddie Murphy comedy didn't feature Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson was in it for just a minute. Being Samuel L. Jackson, ironically. Or, the proto-Sam Jackson. Let's see. The classic starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall was a commercial success, earned $288 million worldwide for Paramount, but the studio initially passed on the film. Hall revealed on the Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast, they turned Coming to America down. We went, pitched it, and they said no thank you. We were like, give us some notes. What should we do? And they were like, we're not sure, but, it's a fish out of water. We've seen this a billion times. Kind of. If you want to go that route. Let's see. Constructive feedback that was offered. How about if the people you meet in America are played by Eddie? Makes sense. It's probably where he had gotten the idea for things like the clumps. Okay. Oh, look, good news from Fandom Pulse. And no thanks, I don't wish to subscribe. This is interesting. This, what you're looking at on screen, is not what's on my screen. Very peculiar. Okay, let's just grab this story, because this is the one I want to cover anyway. Great news, everyone! Star Trek Packlet Academy has been canceled. The Starfleet Academy cancellation news came as no surprise to most people who have been following the saga of its launch, fan mockery, low ratings, and then actors lashing out at fans in a desperate attempt to save the show. Robert Picardo, give your fucking head a shake and start realizing where your paycheck comes from. It's not the studio. Let's see. However, it is unusual for a studio to announce that a show is being canceled this far in advance with an entire season that was filmed ahead of time before any episode ever aired, yet to air. A CBS insider spoke with Fandom Pulse, told us what he heard is the reason why. Kurtzman has not made friends with the current ownership of Skydance Paramount. Big shock. With last year's merger, many of the network's FCC-approved conditions included instructions that they were not to push their extreme leftist political agenda. Yeah. We saw immediately that Colbert received the axe after his low ratings and senseless tirades. Excuse me. Received the axe is a bit much. If he had received the axe, he wouldn't be going for another, 16 more months yet before he finishes out his contract? But Star Trek was also something that the FCC was keen about changing because the last 10 years have been one big DEI lecture from the current crop from Discovery to Lower Decks. Yes. Word from the studio is that Kurtzman is, also to no surprise, completely Trump deranged. And while he swallowed changes to Strange New Worlds, which were said to have been implemented via edits for seasons 3 to 5 to lessen the DEI impact on what's perceived as the, quote, main show, he moved forward with Starfleet Academy as what he considered an act of resistance. Guys, 2 S's, not together, in resistance. We've all seen the results. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What have you done? Yeah, that's fine. Really? What happens if I archive this? Nobody's archived it. Okay, well, we'll just... I don't need to claim a free post, so we'll just move on to Bleeding Fool and be happy that, well, it's over. Sad tidings, of course, for Disparu, whose work on the... Yeah, we'll reject that. Whose work on the review side of things for Star Trek Academy has been very good. But, yeah. I never watched a single episode of Star Trek Academy, and never will. But thoroughly enjoyed Disparu's coverage. Yeah. Colbert is writing a new Lord of the Rings. Okay, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, Colbert is absolutely a Trump-deranged lefty. On the other hand, he is also one of the best lore guys when it comes to Lord of the Rings. He is an absolute fanatic, and he definitely puts the fan in fanatic. I want to be hopeful. I want to say, somebody is going to take him aside and go, listen, you can write this story, and I believe it's The Hunt for Gollum, so it'll be Gandalf and Aragorn. Ideally, it would be Ian McKellen and Viggo Mortensen reprising their roles. I don't know. I know Ian McKellen, during the filming of The Hobbit, was not happy because he was not working with actual people. And Vigo, I would suspect The Hunt for Gollum is going to be meant to be a bit more action heavy. And I don't know that Vigo. How old is Vigo Mortensen? It's got to be close to, Jesus, 70 at least. How old is Vigo Mortensen? Vigo Mortensen was born 1958. That makes him 67. Well, Liam Neeson's done action at that age. Sure, why not? It might not suck. Let's see, what else have we got here? Scroll through the news. Steve Ditko's Amazing Spider-Man Artists Edition is announced. Cool. Netflix has fired back after Matt Damon's claims. Oh, let's see what this is then. Netflix continues to dominate how audiences watch movies and television. Nah, I don't watch Netflix. After Cuties, I basically said, no, fuck them. And then I started seeing all the race swapping. No thanks. Yeah, so shifted the entertainment industry while raising questions about creative control. Fair. The streaming giant has given filmmakers nearly unlimited budgets for projects like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, a film that won multiple Oscars but did not earn much money. I don't know that I even saw a single ad for it, to be fair. The company's success shows how technology is changing movie viewing habits. Yes, but Netflix created the streaming revolution. I wouldn't say they still dominate. Especially when you consider Disney has so many properties. There's Prime Video, and then that's even before you start throwing in the free ones like Tubi. What else? Tubi, Pluto, Plex. I think there's one called Krypton. There's a bunch. So really, all Netflix really did was revolutionize how people consume entertainment, video entertainment at home. Matt Damon recently stirred the debate during a promotional tour for the Netflix movie The Rip, which he starred in alongside Ben Affleck. Go figure. Damon told Joe Rogan that the streamer sometimes pressures filmmakers to repeat key plot points throughout a movie so distracted viewers can keep up. According to Damon, Netflix also asks directors to start films with larger action scenes to hold attention. They want a big one in the first 5 minutes, explaining that many people watch while multitasking on their phones. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, the general attention, not deficit, span. There we go. It's English, I know. It's the language I grew up speaking. I'll get there. There's kind of a massive vocabulary in here. Plus, I haven't had coffee. I'm kind of tired now. But anyway, yeah, the general modern attention span has gotten significantly shorter. Unfortunately. Let's see. They want a big one in the first 5 minutes, said, explaining that many people watch multitasking on phones. Netflix executives quickly denied the claim. Variety reported that Netflix film chief Dan Lin said there is no such principle. Guys, it's not a bad business practice to keep people's eyes glued to your screen. The idea used to be keep asses in seats. Now it's keep eyes on screens. It's not a horrible thing. Okay, the laundry machine's not that loud. Of course, they denied the claim. If you watch our movies or TV shows, we don't repeat our plot. I don't know where that comment came from. Certainly, we are focused on making great movies. I can't name specific examples, but I can think of times where it feels like they have kind of restated the plot a little bit. I'm rewatching the Netflix Daredevil, for example, and there are times when it does kind of happen in an episode where you learn a piece of information early on and it is kind of hammered back to you later. So, yeah. Let's see. What have we got from Bleeding Cool? No, I didn't mean Bleeding Fool. Go away. Alex Ross on Kingdom Come, Alan Moore and Miracle Man, new K-pop Demon Hunters, adult Happy Meals. Adult Happy Meals. Yeah, why not? Let's see. Dan Slott. Good Omens. I think they're stretching Good Omens far too far. I didn't even really realize there'd been a second season. Now that I'm aware of it, I like the interplay between, oh god, the two actors, Doctor Who and Scotty, Simon Pegg and David. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Tennant. There we go. David Tennant. Jesus. I definitely need that copy. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the... for God's sakes, it was Michael Sheen and David Tennant. My apologies. Oh, wow, that's Michael Sheen. Yeah, you could... wow, he does actually look a lot like Simon Pegg. When he's done up as a Aziraphale. Cool. In any event, as I was saying, I do like the interplay between those two characters. Which really means you should put those actors in something else, rather than trying to stretch Good Omens beyond its means. It was a closed loop of a story. It should have been left alone. I have no idea what Season 2 was about. I'll probably watch it. It's on Prime Video. Yeah, I have Prime, so I'll probably watch that. Apparently, the screenwriter for Oldboy is doing a series for Disney+. It's a K-drama, so it's Korean. Obviously, it's going to be Korean. What the oh, no, 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 no. Latest in comics. Pretty pictures. Mischief of Magpies. Nope. Western graphic novel. Xavier Dorison, Ralph Meyer, Carolyn Dellaby. People I've never heard of. Let's have a look. The Undertaker Western graphic novel wants to teach you about comics. No. Dark humor, high-stakes action, Western mystery. It's an interesting blend. Explore the Old West through the eyes of Jonas Crow, a mortician with a hidden past and a vulture companion. Necromancer cross-classed to ranger? No. I'm not liking this. I hope you're well, a gold-toothed corpse, a town hungry for vengeance, and a hearse full of secrets. No. Okay, let's, okay, what have we got here? Okay. This is a post from Dabo Ibrahim TV, but it's relevant to Fandom Friday because I want to talk about this. So, all of these dudes are in their prime. Who wins this? Okay, first off, not a martial artist. Not really a martial artist. Not really a martial artist. Immediately eliminated. Boxer. Yeah, and it's also Ali. So, I mean, sheer force of personality kind of makes you want to keep him in. Let's see. Chuck, Bruce. Yeah, you've got... Is that Ernie? Oh, yeah, no, Ernie's gone. Okay, so we can eliminate the two boxers. I mean, as a matchup, Ali Tyson would be amazing, but I don't think they'd stand up to real martial artists. So now we're left with three. We've got Bruce, Chuck, and Jean-Claude. Now, I did finish just watching a video where Bruce was talking about how he trained with Jean-Claude and called him a good martial artist. Don't really think Chuck thought Van Damme could take him at the time. So, kind of down to these two. And I mean, Chuck was a competitive fighter. It's kind of hard not to pick Chuck. And that's not simply because I'm lionizing the dead, because, I'm sorry, I was born 3 years after this man died, and I've seen damn near everything he's ever been in, and still love him for the legend that he was. But, yeah, if they were in their prime... I mean, a kickboxer versus a boxer is going to win. He's got more tools. Same. Arnold's not a fighter. Neither is The Rock. Neither is Van Damme. Or Seagal. Stallone neither. So, I mean, we can take all of these out immediately. And, as I said, the boxers are going to be limited in skills. Bruce is fast in his prime. He's insanely fast. Chuck can take a punch, and Van Damme's probably got height on Bruce. How tall is JCVD versus Bruce Lee? Jean-Claude Van Damme is 5'8.5", so he's a half-inch taller than me. And Lee was 5'7.7". Technically, they're both going to be considered 5'8", so they're roughly the same height. That changes the complexion of that. One of the things I did think, I didn't realize this was Arnold. I thought this was Dolph Lundgren initially. And while, again, Dolph is not a professional fighter, I think he would probably take Schwarzenegger. And he'd probably throw Stallone around like a ragdoll. I mean, out of these three, it's kind of a hard pick. These two guys tend to be fairly flashy, though. And this guy did win a bunch of fights. Granted, he lost a bunch of fights. So, you know, I kind of have to pick Chuck. You guys want to argue with me, feel free. The comments are open. Okay, let's check a few more little things here. Okay, I'll just copy some links across. No, let's do it this way. Copy clean link. There we are. So this is the day Michael Jackson became royalty. Yes, I know that sounds hilariously weird, but yeah, let's have a look at it. So Michael Jackson was crowned a prince of the San Kingdom in 1992. After his death in 2009, thousands mourned him for 2 days, and the kingdom requested he be buried in Crinjabo, saying a prince of Sanwi should rest in his homeland.
As of this moment, the word is out.
Okay, so the next story, and this is all from my one playlist that I compiled for this show. The next story here is Firefly. Oops. Come on, full screen. There we go.
As of this moment, the word is out. We are going to try to bring back Firefly. And this time, we're going to animate it. Guys, bringing back Firefly, crazy or not crazy?
Not crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Not crazy.
Crazy. Crazy.
It's crazy, but it just might work.
Now, to do this, we would need Joss's blessing. I got it.
The rights from 20th Century Fox.
/ Disney.
They got excited. They said yes.
The showrunner.
I got 2. Tara Butters, Agent Carter, Dollhouse, Mark Guggenheim, Arrow, Flash. They're married. They met through Firefly.
A script.
We got it.
An animation house.
Academy and Emmy award-winning Shadow Machine. The last piece we need is a home.
A home.
A home.
A home?
A home?
A home.
A home.
A home!
I fucking love Alan Tudyk. Okay. I'm glad they got Wash. It's going to be set before Serenity, obviously. Downside, they're not going to have Shepherd Book. Shepherd Book was my favorite character. Ron Glass is deeply missed. Do I think this is doomed to fail? No. Do I think it's going to enrage hardcore fans? Absolutely. I don't consider myself a hardcore Firefly fan. Bit of a tongue twist. I need coffee. It's a bit of I mean, the interest is there. The fans will show up to watch this once. If it's bad, they might not finish it. So, and technically it's not really a prequel, it's more of a midquel, which I hate the fact that I actually understand what that means. But yeah, not a bad idea. I'm curious if they're going to use material from the comic book series that actually continued the story before Serenity. I'm curious if they will keep anything hidden. I'm very curious as to whether or not Christina Hendricks will be involved. Because I would love to see an animated Saffron. Yeah. It's one of those things. I really hope it does work out. But I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't. Is this even supposed to be on? What is this? I'm not even sure if this is supposed to be here. What is this one? It says angst. Rockstar is letting a terminally ill fan play GTA 6 early after a family member publicly shared their story. Why is this hashtagged angst? And yeah, I'm absolutely okay with this. Rockstar should let a terminally ill fan play. The problem is he's not going to be able to tell us anything. Because he will be, sworn to secrecy, forced to sign an NDA, whatever particular term you want to use. But, good on Rockstar for letting a real fan play. One of my favorite movies related to Star Wars is, hang on. I have to copy that link. One of my favorite movies related to the Star Wars universe is Fanboys. And the whole point of that is one of their buddies, like it's a group of friends, and one of them is very sick. Cancer, if I recall correctly, and dying. And they decide to break into the Lucas Ranch and steal the print for the Phantom Menace so they can watch it before it comes out in theaters, and therefore before he dies. And hijinks ensue, but it's a great movie, and there's lots of really... Hex1 has rated the stream. Hello, Hex, thank you very much. It's just me. There's nobody else in chat, but thank you very much for popping in. How you doing? Yarr! Since I see a pirate flag in the chat there. Yeah, so, Fanboys, great movie. Rockstar letting a terminally ill fan play GTA 6 early, great. Now, Rockstar, listen to what that guy says about what you should change. He's got nothing to lose. He's never going to play it when it's changed, which is actually not a reason to dismiss his criticisms. If he's a legit fan, a true fan, he'll tell you what you did wrong, what you should change, and probably do it better than I can. I'm not really a fan of the franchise. I just liked the fifth one. Good morning, he says. Hi, Hex. And, yeah, it's actually really nice to see a game studio honor their fans. Oh, that's okay. It was just me for hours. Yeah, that does happen. Quite often you're just screaming into the void and hoping people are watching you later. Yeah. Okay, so the next story I have, it's Steven Crowder, but there's a reason. And I will talk a bit more about Star Trek being canceled.
Proven.
Now, I have to pause
here's
this
one that I've heard is...
because I'm trying to find a very specific moment. I had this playing while I was in the shower earlier. And it's this. Jesse the Body Ventura, former wrestler, hence the reason this is being included in Fandom Friday. I'll just let this play, and you guys can tell me what you think.
Had zero substantiation beyond, come on, Pierce. Oh, really, Pierce? You believe that? All right. Here you go.
Yeah, the idea that Trump's assassination never actually happened. The Butler, Pennsylvania attack, where Trump was hit in the ear and someone behind him died. Yeah, Jesse Ventura thinks it was a fucking frame-up. What was it? What did they used to call it when I was wrestling? A gag? A bit? I can't remember exactly, but basically a wrestling frame job kind of deal. Like it was just made up.
There's a UFC whole event going on imminently at the White House. Maybe they could extend it and have you against Trump.
Do you think he'd have the
Okay, before Jesse Ventura embarrasses himself here talking about how do you think Trump would ever have the balls to step in the ring with me, I'd like to point out both of you are old men. One of you is a former Navy SEAL. One of you never worked at anything other than a desk. Of course he's not going to step in the ring with you, Jesse. Don't be a fucking asshole.
Guts to do that? Are you kidding me?
Well, when he got
This guy.
well, when
I
he
can
got
tell-
shot,
wait a minute,
Jesse.
Pierce,
To be fair to
wait
Trump,
a minute, Pierce.
To be fair to Trump, when he got shot,
I'm going to tell
when
you.
he got shot, he got back up.
I'm
Said
gonna-
fight.
Oh yeah, right. You ever hear of a blade job?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, and I know because I actually used to be a professional wrestler briefly, a blade job is when you see a wrestler bleeding quite often, what they've done is they've had a small razor blade hidden somewhere, usually in an armband or whatever, and they've been knocked down, whacked with a steel chair, for example. When they've gotten up, what they've done is take a tiny slice in their forehead. Scalp wounds bleed like crazy. Forehead wounds, things like that. If you look at some of the older wrestlers, the guys from the 80s, if you take a good look at their foreheads, I actually met Sailor White sometime after he had retired, and well before he passed away. That guy had scars on his forehead the size of my fingers, and I don't have small hands. Let's see. And Abraham Lincoln is still alive, standing next to Yoda and Obi-Wan. Oh, the Hispanic Jedi, Obi-Wan. Yeah, no, it's absolute hilarious idiocy. He's just asking questions. Well, that's not a question, Jesse. You're making claims now.
Anyway,
A blade? What, you think he was fake?
anyway, I don't know.
Pierce, why'd you even have to ask that question? The implication was clear. Now he's going to say, oh, I don't know, maybe. Fuck off. That's it. That's all I wanted to give airtime to. Okay, let's see what my X bookmarks say here. This should be Fandom Friday. I'm concerned. I saw something weird there for a second. From Jimmy Fela. If The Godfather were made today, it would not be eligible for an Oscar unless he transitioned to the godmother and made someone an offer they couldn't hear. You could still leave the gun, but you couldn't take the cannoli unless the baker supports gay marriage. Rest in peace, Hollywood. Yeah, this is talking about the qualifications to be nominated for Best Picture. Absolute retardation here. Here are these rules. Yeah. Okay, so A1, lead or significant supporting actors from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups. You know white people are a global minority, right, Oscars? Yeah. At least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors submitted for Oscar consideration is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group in a specific country or territory of production. So if I film a movie in, let's say, Sierra Leone, and submit a white actor, that'll be okay? Let's see, what have we got? African American, Black African, or... Oh, no, okay. So now they're telling you what races they can be, and it has nothing to do with where you're actually producing your film. African American, Black, African, or Caribbean descent, East Asian, including Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Mongolian, Hispanic, or Latine. What the fuck is that mess? Latin EOX. What the hell is a Latin E? Indigenous peoples. For the record, the English are indigenous to England. The French are indigenous to France. Yeah. Middle Eastern, North African, Pacific Islander, South Asian, Southeast Asian. Yeah. So basically, as long as they're white, not white. General ensemble, 30% of all actors not submitted for Oscar consideration are from at least 2 underrepresented groups, which may include women. How are women underrepresented? They're half the fucking planet. Racial or ethnic group, okay, or LGBTQ, people with cognitive or physical disabilities. Cognitive disabilities. I'm going to use a very harsh word, and I don't mean it harmfully, I just mean it as the clinical sense of the word. But you want to put retards in movies. Oscars, what the fuck? The main storyline, theme, or narrative of the film is centered on an underrepresented group. If you make a movie in Africa about slavery... Yeah. You know, and this is the reason why nobody is taking the Oscars or Hollywood in general seriously anymore. And that was via End Wokeness, by the way. I bet South Africa has some great vistas. I've had a couple of different friends from different parts of South Africa. One from Cape Town specifically. One from, it was called Swaziland. Now I believe it's called Eswatini. And gorgeous, just gorgeous country. But you can find gorgeous country anywhere. It's just a matter of knowing where to look and getting outside of a fucking city. And to be fair, even in cities you can find some nice places. A good example would be looking at, say, New Gower Street Church in St. John's here in Newfoundland. Okay, let's talk about how dumb some gingers can be. Yes, I realize I'm a ginger. Via the Metatron, the only decent person from the Harry Potter kids at this point is Malfoy. Yeah, it does seem that way. Via David J. Harris Jr., the world has lost its mind. Rupert Grint says, I stand with the trans community. Trans women are men, trans men are men. Oh, sorry, trans women are women, trans men are men. Rupert, buddy, first off, cut your hair. Embrace the bald. It's okay to be a balding ginger. There's quite a lot of us. Second, you are famous for being an afterthought in a film, series. Your character was not Sam to Frodo, okay? What the hell was his character's name? Weasley. Ron? Ron. Ron was not the Sam to Elijah Wood's Frodo. That's not your character's role. You could almost completely cut Ron Weasley out of every film that he was in the Harry Potter franchise, and almost nothing would change. You're not that special. And trying to suck up to people who hate you for being who you are, ginger, white, male, and straight, is a great way to make yourself a laughingstock. Well done. Let's have a quick flick through the... oh, look, celebrity opinions. Yeah, quick flick through the comments for some memes here. Yep. Hex. He's simping for the same group that tried to cancel his main source of income. Exactly my point. Trans women are just mansplaining what it is to be a woman. Oh. Yeah. What do we got here? Mental illness, insane asylums. I don't respect your gender for the same reason I don't talk to the imaginary friends of schizophrenic people. Yeah. No. I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some fucking ass. This is the result of letting Marxists dominate education. Yes. On behalf of the ginger community, we do not claim him. I'm right there with you, Patrick. And as a founding member of the Ginger Supremacy, I welcome you to the fold and have thrown you a follow. Idiots. They're everywhere. I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person doesn't die. Yep. Jesus Christ. Back to the mental institution. Dear trans community, don't tell me I have to accept you for who you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were. Yep. This one won't date me because I have a penis. Yep. Get your LGBTQ Stasi out. Excuse me. He's part of Pedowood. He's an industry puppet. Well, you know, if some of the stories that are coming out in the wake of the Epstein files are true, you gotta wonder what kind of treatment he might have been subjected to. Yeah, that's not a baby, but that's a woman. Yeah, there's your satanic logic for the day. Okay, let's move along. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we'll start here because it's the last story I have to cover anyway. And then I can finally go get myself that coffee. I have 2 more links, and then we're going to be switching to the gaming. So, from Trek Central. More good news. Breaking. Star Trek Packlet Academy has in fact been cancelled. Sadly, Packlet Academy's next season will be its last, with the series now officially announced as cancelled at Paramount Plus, with Season 2's release date to be announced. So they're still going to release it. You damn fools. I have no interest whatsoever in reading Alex Kurtzman's letter to fans, because Kurtzman... Oh, and I'm disconnected. Let's see, DC'd 2603 27 to 14 17. Okay, well, as I'm currently still recording, though I have been disconnected, I will finish the story I'm working on. And of course. Oh, my entire system is disconnected, apparently. I am sitting at 0 KB. That's nice. Okay, and I couldn't even send a message in chat. How lovely. So, just in case he's gone by the time I get back, thanks, Hex. Yeah, thanks for the raid, and thanks for being here. But we'll, as I was saying, I have no interest whatsoever in reading Alex Kurtzman's letter to fans, given how some of the people under his control, Robert Picardo, for example, have treated the fans. And, of course, you're going to get a lot of these celebratory things. Objectively, I can see why it was, but with that said, it's kind of sad we don't give shows a couple series to find their feet. No. When they're this trash, you don't give them a chance to continue being trash. Trev Retro, yeah. I'll be in the chat for his show later today. Bye-bye. Yep. Hasta luego. Vaya con diablos. We'll always have this. I think I swallowed my comm badge. That's not the worst part of that scene. The worst part of that scene is the doctor, Picardo's character, going, already? Like he knew it was going to happen. He was just surprised at the scheduling. Imagine expecting someone to be stupid enough to eat an inanimate piece of jewelry, essentially. Oh, I guess I'm very badly disconnected at this point. Oh yeah, completely disconnected. Guess I might have to hotspot this for the rest of this part of the show. According to my phone, I'm connected. But according to my computer, I am not. No, okay. Give me 1 second here, folks. Well, you guys watching the recording don't have to. I just have to open my hotspot and get that sorted out. That is absolutely dead. That's fucking disgusting. Yep. Oh, and before the hotspot even connected, I should be back. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll turn off the hotspot again and hope for the best. Okay, so my ISP continues to be shit. Back. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, we got a bunch of different images and things. Let me try sending that message again. Get a chat bot check out of this as well. OBS disconnected, back. Okay, excellent. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. My ISP is fucked. Yeah. Let's see. Here we are. So, Senor Ofensa asks, why? Why indeed? That is the skinniest Klingon I have ever seen. Ironically, not the ugliest, because, well, Gowron. Yeah, it's dead, Jim. It was only a nightmare. Yeah, that's, I have that GIF in the next link that I'm going to be looking at, actually. That's going to be the last thing I look at. Gee, I wonder why you create a gay emo retard Klingon and a lesbian Jem'Hadar. What do you expect to happen? Yeah, and there were at least 3 different Klingon hybrids. Klingon Tellarite, Klingon Jem'Hadar, which shouldn't be fucking possible, and I believe there was another one as well. But the Klingon Tellarite was the bad guy. Yeah, yeah. It's over. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. They're bodying you in the comments, and you fucking deserve it. Yeah. Bring on Star Trek: The Next Regurgitation. Oh, man. At least Data's still white. Too bad he's a woman. It's Reading Rainbow. Yeah. Yeah. That's... Oof. Oh, so why do... Oh, no, okay. That's meant to be the doctor. Sorry. I was going to say, why do we have 2 Counselor Troys? Okay. So let's have a look at this one. This is the last, and hopefully last time I'll ever have to speak about Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Sorry, Packlet Academy. And, yeah, we'll watch this little video here. Assume that I'm not disconnected again. Okay, well, let's pause that. Now, I will point out, it is a transporter effect that removes them. I don't like that. I think it should absolutely be more along the lines of the Thanos snap effect, but you take what you can get.
Thank God it was only a nightmare.
Yep, it's all over but the crying and bitching and moaning now. Okay, folks. That's going to be it for the recorded segment. So, if you would like to support what I do, please do consider going over to Ko-Fi, throwing me a few bucks. Regularly gets your name in the ticker, along with Sadie Sapientia, Xanarab7, and of course, Simon JJ. Everybody else, those who give singularly, those who share, comment, like, etc., subscribe or follow depending on which platform, those folks are part of the Orangutan Gang, hence the Orangutan Gang is included in the ticker. Other than that, hoping that my internet connection holds out, tomorrow I will be doing the standard show. I'll be doing the usual Saturday thing. I'll do my response folders, Sic Semper Mentalis, and then, of course, an extra chunk of gaming. Today I'm actually going to get about 2 hours of gaming in. So, awesome. So, in order to facilitate that, we will switch over from there to there. We will take down the video cover, throw up the interlude graphic, and I am going to go get myself a coffee and have a cigarette, and I will be back in about 15 minutes. Thanks again to Hex1 for the raid and the interaction in chat. If you would like to interact in chat, by all means, feel encouraged. Not just welcome, but actually encouraged. If you have an issue with something I say, by all means, call me out. I'm not going to turn around and ban you, unless you're an absolute dickhead. But, yeah, and, you know, if you're an absolute dickhead and you're funny, you might get to stay. In any case, folks, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.